I messed up. Somehow I completely missed Darth Revan, and I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. I found out about him because of a tattoo at the gym. A guy walked past me with his entire forearm inked, lightsabers, a Mandalorian helmet.
That is so sick.
I asked who it was, and he said Darth Revan fighting Mandalore the Ultimate. And I just stood there thinking, how did I miss this? Because I've watched Star Wars since I was a kid, but there's a galaxy of stories I still don't know. So I'm learning them one figure at a time and bringing you with me. The crazy part is, the mask was the least intense thing about him, because Revan wasn't a typical villain. He was a Jedi Knight, brilliant, fearless, the kind of leader other Jedi followed into war. And when the Mandalorians started torching the Outer Rim and the Jedi Council refused to act, Revan broke their rules. He ended up winning the Mandalorian War because he defeats Mandalore the Ultimate. And that should have been the end. But Revan realizes that Mandalorians were being pushed, like somebody stronger was behind them, manipulating them like chess pieces. So he and his closest friend Malik follow a strange signal into the unknown regions, and that's where the real nightmare starts. Revan finds the Sith Emperor Vitiate, and this is the detail that made my stomach drop. Revan doesn't fall because he's weak, he gets dominated. Vitiate breaks his mind, rewrites his identity, and twists his purpose. And Revan comes back not as the hero who saved the Republic, but as the Sith Lord who's about to destroy it. He becomes Darth Revan. He builds an entire war machine, uses an ancient superweapon called the Starforge. Planets burn. The Republic is collapsing. And then the betrayal hits. Because Malik, his apprentice, his brother, turns on him. Malik fires on Revan's ship. Revan survives, just barely. And this is where the tragedy gets personal. Because it wasn't the Sith who took his life next. It was the Jedi. The Jedi captured Revan, and instead of healing him, they erased him. They wiped his mind clean, turned him into a blank slate because they needed him alive to lead them to Malik and stop the war. Revan loses himself twice, first to the Sith, then to the Jedi. But there's the part that made me respect him. Even without his memories, Revan chooses the light again. He rebuilds who he is. He forms real bonds. He even falls in love as he destroys the empire he was forced to create. He defeats Malik. And for a second, you think, okay, that's redemption. That's the ending. Nope. Because Revan still feels the Emperor out there, and he can't let it go. So he leaves, alone to finish it. And it's still not some heroic final duel. It's a loss. Revan gets captured again. He fails. Vitiate keeps him alive for 300 years. Not because he's merciful, but because the Emperor uses him like an anchor. And by the time people finally find him, he's not whole anymore. Revan splits. The light side of him is still trying to save the galaxy, and the dark side of him is pure revenge, obsessed with killing the Emperor. And that's why this story is so brutal. Revan doesn't just fight for the Sith, he fights himself. For centuries, and holding this figure right here, knowing what he survived, it's not just a cool character anymore. It's the saddest legend I've ever missed. And I learned all of this starting from a tattoo at the gym, from a character I didn't even know existed. And opening this figure now, it feels like opening a door to the part of Star Wars I somehow missed. If this is what I learned from one figure, what else have I missed? You all tell me, who should I learn about next?